Friends, what up? Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Today, harshly grading 20 different fragrances that you can easily find for under 50 bucks. From S tier, the elite, the tops, down to D tier, the trash, the straight garbage. I'm gonna be brutally honest with each one of these fragrances. I'm not gonna really grade these on too much of a curve. Maybe a tiny curve, but not much of one. Here's all the fragrances up for discussion. Let's kick it off with Le Mans. The original by JPG. You can find this one pretty easily at discounters for under 50 bucks. That's for a full presentation. If you get a tester, it's gonna be even less. If you don't really care about getting the can, I'd probably go with the tester because these don't come with caps anyway, so you're not really missing out on much. So this fragrance has been around forever. That's both a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it means it works. People buy it. That's why it's still around. And the reason people buy it is because it's a likable fragrance and it still pulls positive attention. On the negative side, it's been worn to death, and most people nowadays probably would rather have one of the flankers. So for me, B tier. It still works, it's not bad. I'm not gonna put it, down below in the C or D tiers where I'm probably not really wanting to wear them, but it's not really in the A or the S tier with the really heavy hitters either. Kenneth Cole, Copper Black up next. So this one, a little bit of a hidden gem. It actually smells really nice. It does smell slightly cheap, which to be fair, it's a Kenneth Cole, so it's not really a high-end brand necessarily. But it has a really, really nice combo of like warm spices and sweetness. It smells really, really nice as far as cheapies go, because this one is way down there as far as pricing. But it does have a drawback. The performance, it sucks. Yeah, it's not good, guys. It is not good. This is that kind of fragrance where you spray it on and you're like, smelling nice, ready for a night out on the town. It's gone. Oh my God. I think I just went nose blind to it. They'll smell me. I did 25 sprays. And then you realize, no, it's actually gone. You're not nose blind. C tier. The smell is nice, it's wearable. If you can actually pick it up, people are gonna enjoy it. It just doesn't last. Basically, it's a cheap fragrance made for fall and winter time with an eau de toilette concentration that performs like a cheap fragrance with an eau de toilette concentration. Varvatos XX Artisan. I actually like this stuff a pretty good amount. It smells basically like a Varvatos take on Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver. Not the exact same, but it's gonna get you a really similar vibe to that one. So we're talking classy, we're talking clean, and woody. And of course they made it gray, so they knew what they were doing. You can't trick me, John. I know you're trying to be Tom. I say for me personally, this might be sneaking up on A tier, but I'm gonna put it in B tier. I think for most people, that's kind of where this works in. If you don't like vetiver, you'd wanna slide it further down that way. If you want something that's more, classy, gentlemanly, maybe you do bump it slightly that way. But for me, right in the middle, B tier, that's where it fits. Boss bottled Elixir. Yeah, so this one is just barely scraping in under 50 bucks. I think it was Gift Express where I found it for high 40s, and I just thought to myself, good enough, that's under 50, I'll take it. S tier, S tier. Some people are gonna compare that a little bit to the smell of something like Dior Sauvage Elixir, but guess what? If you could get Sauvage Elixir for under 50 bucks, that would also be S tier. It's not going to appeal as much to young guys looking for an atomic bomb of sweetness, but for what it does right. How about Cool Water Reborn? Oh. Yeah. D tier, this stuff sucks. The performance is not apocalyptic, it's not great, but it's not the worst in the world. The problem with this one is it smells dated. It has this kind of aromatic fougere vibe going on, but with a really cheap synthetic scent profile. And then at the same time has this really crappy blue fragrance aesthetic. It just doesn't really work for anybody. This stuff, stay away from it. If you want to go Cool Water Parfum, fine. Cool Water Intense, fine. The original Cool Water, fine. Reborn? Shoot it into the sun. Perry Ellis? Midnight? Yeah. This stuff was a little bit difficult to find for a moment in time, but pretty easy nowadays. In typical cheap fragrance style, it's an eau de toilette. You know what that means? Ugh. No, actually, this one is better. It performs better than this. Better than the Kenneth Cole. And Perry Ellis Midnight is actually sneaky good. In fact, that's right there. That's where it goes. A tier. I think JOMASHOP, right as I'm filming this video, has like a gift set or something. I just searched to make sure that it was still the price that I thought it was. And they had this with like the cheap shower gel and shampoo in tiny tubes, and it's like great. What if those are fantastic, right? What if you get the midnight shower gel and it's just the best shower gel you've ever used in your life? It's gonna be kind of difficult to find new bottles of this stuff. It's not like they're making them in mass. Sometimes I just don't fully understand those gift sets. It's like, okay, cool, thanks for the travel size body wash. So this one is kind of like the Most Wanted, actually, the original The Most Wanted, which means it could also remind you vaguely of stuff like Stronger With You. Now it has maybe a little bit more of a clean aspect to it, but still right in that wheelhouse. It smells really, really nice for the price point, because this one, about 25 bucks most places. Under the radar, solid. Before I hop to the next fragrance, guys, I wanna hop to the codes just super quick. They're right here. You can copy and paste them from the description anytime you shop at these stores. So we're talking Fragflex, Perfume Box, JOMASHOP, whatever. Use those codes, save yourself some money anytime you're shopping at those stores. Don't pay the full price, pay the lower price. Nikos Sculpture Parfum up next. I got a bone to pick with this mother effer. I'll tell you why, because when this first dropped, at least at discounters, it was dirt cheap. I bought this bottle right here from JOMASHOP, and actually they're kind of bad about this. They go, oh, people want to buy that now? Jack the price up. But I bought it from JOMASHOP, and at the time, I swear it was like $22 or $24 or something like that. Insane deal at that price. S tier, easy. It smells similar to Lafayette Street. So you can get that Bond number 9 walking around money kind of vibe, only without spending the walking around money. Now it's closer to like 45 or something. You know, it's getting close to doubling in price. So I'm gonna have to put it in the A tier. It's still really good, and it still is a great alternative to the Bond number 9. It's just the value proposition, not quite as good as it used to be. So I have to ding it 1 tier for that. Bros, what about Seductive Homme, the blue version from Guess? Now this does have some stuff going for it. First off, smells similar to La Nuit de l'Homme. It's actually kind of like the OG blue fragrance version of La Nuit de l'Homme. Yeah, remember they came out with La Nuit de l'Homme Blue Electrique, and then they took it around the barn and kind of put it out of its misery, old Yeller style, very sad. But yeah, well before Blue Electrique, there was this blue, and it actually smells good. Does it smell cheaper than La Nuit de l'Homme? It's a Guess fragrance, so yes it does. Does it low-key smell pretty good though? Also yes. Does it have terrible gutter trash performance? Also yes, C tier. Kind of the exact same thing that's going on with the Kenneth Cole is going on here. It's basically like you spray it on and you go, oh, this is actually a pretty good deal. I'm a genius. I gambled and won. And then 20 minutes later you go, oh, I see why more people don't talk about it now. It makes sense. The whole performance thing is kind of important sometimes. Yeah. Shit. And this is gonna be a recurring theme, by the way, the whole performance thing. Yeah, it turns out when you have cheap designer fragrances at bargain bin prices that are with low concentrations, they don't stick around. Missoni Wave, A tier. Come on, it's Missoni Wave. I'm honestly like halfway to putting it toward S tier, so I'm gonna say high A tier. Cheech and Chong style A tier, yes, because it just works, right? It just works. Does it smell similar to Allure Homme Sport and Versace Pour Homme? Yes. Of course. Can you wear it pretty much anywhere whenever you want, even during winter because it's a safe aquatic? Also yes. A tier, solid, no notes. Joop, Homme Absolute. At least it's not just regular Joop. That would be F tier. Not even D, that's down there. It doesn't exist. It'll make a lower, it's Z tier, but it was important. Still Z tier. So this one, Joop Homme Absolute, it is more pepper forward, has kind of like a dusty woodiness as well. It kind of reminds me vaguely of like This Is Homme. Not the exact same as that fragrance, but you know, sort of in that wheelhouse. Performance is not quite as beastly as you would hope. You know, the decked out black bottle, Absolute. You're thinking, that's gonna be a beast. No, it is not. It is not. It's actually kind of pathetic for what this gives off, you know? I'm gonna say this is C tier. It's okay, it doesn't smell awful, but it's definitely, for me, not better than these. And since I brought up This Is Homme, how about This Is Really Homme? Yeah, this is really Homme. The other one is not. That's a fake This Is Homme. This is real, for real. Just solid A+ naming conventions here, just nice. So this is a little bit difficult for me to rank because the fragrance itself is not too bad. It's not anything crazy complex. It's decently easy to wear. Just kind of a somewhat smooth, somewhat creamy woodiness with orange blossom, a bit of citrus, you know, not a whole heck of a lot more than that. It's an eau de toilette intense, but it's still not really strong. I do think it has more wearability than these, so I'm gonna drop it into B tier. Not up here with A tier, definitely not S tier, but clearly above these. The Most Wanted. This is the Eau de Toilette Intense, the more wearable one. And this has grown on me. I'll tell you that, it has grown on me since it first came out. It's not the same as myself, but it has the same sort of versatility baked in. So I would say this competes with that one, you know, with product paradigm to an extent, stuff like that. It's surprisingly cheap at discounters. You know, you can find it about $45 for a 50 ml size bottle usually. I'd say this has moved up into the A tier. Yeah, I think this is above the B tier pretty cleanly, but it's not quite there in the S tier. How about Dylan Blue though? Where would that go? So Dylan Blue to me has always been the perfect blue fragrance for somebody who wants something they can wear year round. They want it from a name that people know. They want the quality to be pretty good. They want it to be able to compete potentially with stuff like Bleu de Chanel. And yeah, they just don't want to spend too much. It's an easy fragrance to beat up on because you can just go, Versace, it came out with the throwaway blue fragrance. It's not as unique as Sauvage or Y, and it's not quite as classy as Bleu de Chanel, so it sucks my balls. That's scientific words. You can't argue it. But I disagree with that. I think on the cheap, this stuff, if you're somebody who wants like a tight collection, not too many fragrances, you don't have a crazy amount of money to spend, this is one of the ones to get. So S tier. And I actually feel really comfortable with that, S tier. Not low S or anything like that. That's a full S right there. Woo. Tommy Bahama. This is Maritime Voyage. It's got like a Pacific Chill kind of look to it. At this point, everything smells like Pacific Chill. So there's some stuff to like about this. The presentation looks pretty good. Not bad at all, especially if your girlfriend or your wife really likes lakes or oceans, especially the beach. It's got that kind of vibe to it. The gradient looks good. The price, very low. So it's gotta be cleanly somewhere, you know, up here, right? No, this is in D tier. That is the weakest fragrance up here by a huge margin. This stuff, I spray it on my skin, I kid you not, it's like gone. It's like a Penn and Teller magic trick. You spray it on and you're just like, haha. Oh, it's not there anymore. You saw with your own eyes, I sprayed it, but smell, magic. For the milliseconds that you can smell it coming off your skin, it's nice, it's fine. You know, it's a little tropical, beachy getaway kind of thing. And look, it's a Tommy Bahama. We all know the drill. Like 95% of Tommy Bahama fragrances are not really strong. That's not what they're known for. And I'm not beating it up for that. But legitimately, Tommy Bahama Set Sail St. Bart's, it's an eau de cologne. I can spray that on and get better performance than this, which to be fair, this is also an eau de cologne. So all I'm saying is they have other eau de colognes that perform better, so there's no excuse. This stuff sucks. Legend Elixir, newer fragrance, so it has dropped in price pretty quickly. Not often that you get an Elixir fragrance that comes out and within 6 months, you can scoop it up for under 50 bucks, so nice. For this fragrance, I would say when it first came out, full retail, it's hanging out somewhere down here. My wife actually really likes this one. So, you know, that's giving it a little extra boost. I think that it's okay. When you look at the note breakdown, it looks like it's gonna be way more interesting than it actually is. It ends up being just sort of an amalgamation of all the different popular fresh fragrances put into a bowl and blended up. The thing it's gonna be compared to most often is My Self Absolute, which also makes sense when you look at the color or lack thereof, just this kind of silver mirrored finish. Same as the Myself bottle, I mean. But I guess therein lies its strength, that it has this combination of all the popular fresh fragrances put into one thing. It gives you that compliment factor, that wearability, now at a sub $50 price point. And so because of that, I actually put it in the A tier. Because again, if you're looking for something that you can rock and roll with pretty much whenever, you don't want to spend much money, you want something newer, that's one of the best things you can get right now, assuming you don't want to go on the clone train, that is. Benz Black, Club Black. This is the Eau de Toilette, still consistently about 35 bucks. If you love vanilla, this is one of the better cheap fragrances you're ever gonna find. S tier for this, super easy. Next one, a little bit tougher, Green Wood by D Squared. Absolutely no hype here. It does have a great cap that is magnetic. Nice. D Squared is obsessed with wood. They had a ton of fragrances that were all wood for the most part. Like this, even had wood around the bottles themselves. Then they discontinued all of them, and then they started making wood fragrances again, but they haven't been making many of them here lately, so I don't know how well they sell. This one hits you with the big burst of citrus off the top. As it dries down, it gets more woody. It also has obviously kind of a green aspect to it, so you have vetiver in there that plays a prominent role. And this is one that I think is really hit or miss. You know, for some people, it's gonna be a great under the radar fragrance. For other people, it's gonna be forgettable or not even all that nice to wear, actually. I think it's pretty good. Good enough to be in B tier for that price. So we go from that wood to this wood Neroli. And this one I'm gonna put in high B tier. I have to specify that that is a high B tier, bordering on A tier here. And I think to my own taste, I'd actually probably move it to A tier, but I think for most people, B tier probably makes more sense. And I'll explain why just really quickly. So it has a nice Neroli aspect to it, which is gonna give it this kind of clean, overarching vibe that it has from the opening into the dry down. Of course, Neroli Portofino by Tom Ford, the one that's most popularly associated with that kind of feel. It's maybe not quite as attention grabbing as these fragrances over here in A tier, but it has a nice classiness. It's super easy to wear. And at the price point, I think it's a win. L'Homme Rochas Aromatic Touch. Really, really cheap. Kind of an interesting note breakdown. It kind of sucks. Yeah, it's not that great. A lot of people really do not enjoy the way this stuff smells. The opening is very potentially divisive. So it has apple in there, but the way it hits is not as, you know, instantly charming as like the YSL fragrances. Instead, I would say it opens like a much crappier version of Brioni Intense. You know, that kind of apple, just cheaper, scratchier, more synthetic. And then as it dries down, the woodiness is also not as nice as you're gonna find in the fragrances up here. So I'm gonna put it in C tier. Thinking about D tier, low C tier, low C tier. The blue version, just L'Homme Rochas, that one's better than this one. That one would be comfortably in B tier. Last but not least, White and Black, Lalique. Come on. S tier. Smells similar to Leighton by Parfums de Marly. Maybe not quite as sweet as the PDM, but it's right in that style. Smells amazing for the price point. Lalique White and Black is killer. And I wish actually that Lalique came out with more stuff kind of like this, mainly because you know it's gonna get marked way the flip down as time goes on. What I mean by more stuff like this is things that are more appealing to a larger audience, because a lot of Lalique stuff, and I know some people love this about Lalique, but a lot of the stuff they make is sometimes geared to a much more specific audience. Boom, there it is. $50 or under, S tier to D tier. Let me grab a giveaway. Crypto Mint. Yeah, so this is a discontinued Mugler. I've had this for a long time, but I'm not wearing it. I'm not using it. One of you out there can have this and be wearing something that nobody else is. If you want to be entered in the giveaway for the Crypto Mint, just like the video, be subscribed to the channel, leave me a comment. Let me know an S tier under $50 fragrance for you, just one that you think deserves that. I'll pick a winner with random comment picker, post it up on the post tab of the YouTube channel, and if you're the winner, hit me up and Crypto Mint will be yours. A fusion of a supernatural mint, it says. I want to thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.